Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, this fuzzy one wandering around here is Freya. We're bringing you today's video. As always, everybody, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We appreciate all that support. We just want to bring you guys books. Want you guys to have some fun, find new authors, find new books. We really believe not enough people read for fun, and that's what we were trying to do. We're trying to bring you guys more stuff, more reading material, new authors, maybe expand your horizons on genres, whatever it may be. We're going to keep doing this no matter what, but any support would be very, very appreciated. Along those lines, thank you to our patrons. So today I want to talk about, this one is going to be a little bit, I won't say controversial, but it's definitely not going to be for everybody, not even close. I'm not even 100% certain it's for me, just the writing style and the world building is interesting enough for me that I continue to read it, even though I'm not a huge fan of the characters. I want to talk about Stuart Grosse, who I've talked about in the past, definitely like a lot of his books, and Dark Fate. And Dark Fate, book number 11, I believe, is the most recent one. We are in a lit RPG type world, the whole system apocalypse type of thing. And this also, the series, Dark Fate, also goes in line with a lot of the those reborn type lit RPG books where you've got this character that attained great power via betrayal or just failure in what they were trying to do, died, but through magical means was able to go back in time, reborn with all of his knowledge, which theoretically makes a very overpowered character. In Zane's case, Zane Green, he's definitely very, very, very overpowered, and he has used his knowledge to make himself even more powerful. And the things with this series, I'm going to start with the things that I absolutely love. Things I absolutely love. One, the whole system apocalypse kind of thing. Lit RPGs are absolutely fantastic. They're completely awesome. I love the overpowered MC. I definitely love the reborn type of series. And Stuart Grosse writes this stuff very well. He writes the lit RPG stuff in a fascinating way, really, really fascinating way, and it's a lot of fun. That's the best way I can put it. It's a lot of fun. I cannot put him down. When I get these books, and these are kind of mini novels, this series, which he managed to pump them out pretty quick because they're kind of mini novels. He's got a few of them. They're basically, each one is basically a short story. He's got a few series that are like that. And this time around, Zane, instead of being the hero that he started with in his original timeline, when he went back, he basically turned himself into a villain. He chose a succubus type class, he chose or succubus type race, he chose a slaver type class. It's definitely harem elements within this. A lot of, and this is why it can be a little not for everybody. There's definitely, especially in the earlier parts of the series, definitely a lot of let's just say non-consensual things going on, because again, we've got the slave branding and the slave class and the ability to enslave people via the system, so then it's magically enforced, plus Zane's knowledge that he has. But throughout the first part of the series, up to this point, Zane has managed to stop a lot of things that occurred in his first timeline that really, really damaged Earth and damaged humanity, such as alien attacks, pirate attacks, things on those lines. He's managed to repel the first couple of attacks, even capture things. He's managed to stop the collapse of some of the major governments that really shield people. He's managed to prevent the rise of the warlords and the fractured little city-states and feudal states that occurred in his first timeline. He has, again, managed to fend off space-based attacks, and using his wealth that also came back with him through little hand-wavium, he has managed to build his own kingdom. Now he is on the Asteroids series, and has turned it into a system-recognized Kingdom of Sirius. So he is now a king, or a lord at least, with subjects, some of which are slaves, some of which are volunteers. He actually recruited for some of his pilots in one of the earlier books, which is kind of amusing how he recruited who he recruited from, but it also made a whole ton of sense. So now we get into a diplomacy kind of thing. At this point, now that he has fended off the first couple major attacks, he's now out there. He's now out there. He's much more public. Before, he was hiding in the background. You know, he might help out on a local level, help out, you know, the government, or not the government, the police department. You know, things along those lines, small stuff. But now he's operating on a global scale. He's operating on a global scale, and he's doing it his way. The previous book, he went and wiped out a terrorist camp in another country. So he is violating sovereign countries' airspace, things along those lines, setting off explosions. But since he's not part of any treaties, his kingdom is brand new. He's not a signer to any treaties. He's not really can't really be held accountable. Not to mention he's not even on the freaking planet. Who's going to hold him accountable? And he's one of the most powerful beings walking the planet at the time, just in his own personal power. He had in his wealth, his kingdom, spaceships, weapons, stuff like that. His knowledge. He is obviously the most powerful person on the planet, with one possible exception. There are others that have managed to come backwards in time as well, and they are working not necessarily against him, but at odds with him. Of course, they still want to defend the world, but they want to come out on top. They want to defend the world. They want the world to survive, but they also want to be in charge. They want the power. Zane is getting the power just by sheer dint of the fact that he is trying to save the world, and in doing so is having to create a massive power base. But he didn't really come into this deciding that he was going to try and make himself a king. He just came into this trying to figure out how he could stop events that he knew were coming up. And he's now gotten to the point where his foreknowledge is kind of disappearing because he has changed so many things. He really does not know what's going to happen next. So now he just has to plan. He just has to plan and do his best to protect the world while still growing his kingdom, because he knows that things are going to continue to expand, and this system and their connection to these other alien races, alien systems, alien superpowers and empires. No matter what, Earth is still just a tiny little planet. So Zane has to figure out a way to be able to protect it, and he's gained power that way without actually seeking it. He's not really seeking. He wasn't trying to be a king. Not trying to be an emperor or anything like that. Well, there are others that are. Now, some of the things I don't like about this series, again, we got some of the non-consensual stuff, and I know that is definitely a thing for some people. And, you know, Stuart Grosse, a lot of his series, in fact, all three of his major series that I've read definitely include a lot of elements of this. So, definitely fits some people's fantasies, which is fine, to each their own. This time around, it also started including a little familial business. Now, they explains it away with how succubuses are an entirely different society, an entirely different morality and stuff like that. But it's still not my cup of tea. It probably won't be the cup of tea for a lot of people. However, again, guys, every book I read, not every book, but most books I read have at least one or two elements that I'm not a huge fan of. Overall, Stuart Grosse's writing is really engaging. It's really fun. If you like lit RPGs, if you like the harem stuff, if you like fantasy stuff, if you like the system apocalypse things, if you like the Reborn type books, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like the series. You're gonna have to ignore, just kind of gloss over a few things you don't like. But overall, his writing style is a ton of fun. The dialogue is definitely amusing, and the characters, great. Take the good with the bad. I would recommend it for those of you guys that like at least a majority of those categories. So after you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys, please go check it out. I think you'd enjoy it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye now.